Hello, thank you for joining me today. I'm Amanda Fowler of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room. In today's video we're going to be making this suitcase gift box. It opens so that you've got plenty of space to put your gifts, but it's been designed by request of lots of my lovely YouTube viewers who wanted a box that would be big enough to fit 6" by 4" cards or photographs. And the reason that I'm calling this the large suitcase is because I did design a much smaller version. I'll put the link for this one in the description below. So let's turn the camera around and get crafting. Here is my original suitcase. It's looking a bit battered. It's been around for a while, but as you can see, it will not fit a standard envelope, and it certainly won't fit a 4x6 photograph either. So my challenge set by one of my customers was to make a suitcase that does. So that's obviously what we're going to be doing now. I'm using this paper. It's called See a Silhouette, and with all Stampin' Up papers you really need to see them fully to appreciate them. There are always pictures in the catalogue, but you don't get to see them in all their glory. So this one is really beautiful. It's kind of grungy, it's vibrant, lovely colours. So these are all the different patterns. I'm going to be using the blue ones at the bottom. That's that one, and then there's this one with the lovely deeper blue. Okay, so I did try when I was designing this to get it out of a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and it just doesn't work. So you actually need 2 pieces of cardstock, and this is my template. If you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know I always make templates just so that I know I've always got it ready for me to just duplicate it. I've done this template in 2 different colours, basically, so you can see that this section here is where it's going to overlap. So you're going to make 2 pieces exactly the same, and then we're just going to cut them slightly differently. So I'm going to start out with some Pacific Point card. Let me just move those out of the way for now. Hope they don't fly away off my desk. And the trimmer. And we're going to need 2 pieces that are 7 3/4" by 9 1/2. So let's just pop that there. That's 7 3/4 by 9 1/2. That's one piece. Let's do the second one. And what I'm going to do is do all of the cutting bits first, and then we can put the trimmer away. So that's the 2 pieces for the main body of the card. No, the suitcase. I have also already die cut 6 of these. Now this is Night of Navy cardstock, and this is the smallest circle from the stitched framelets. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're called. All of the items that I have used today will be clickable links. So whether you're on my blog or whether you're on YouTube, you can just scroll down and you'll be able to click and go straight to my online store. These measure just a little bit less than 1.5 inches. So if you need to use a circle punch, then that's what 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches will work. But I just love this because this is going to be the reinforcing sections on the suitcase, and it's got this stitching line around it, so it's really cool. So I've got those 2 pieces. I also need a strip for the handle, which is 1.5 inches wide, and I'm just going to do that full length of this piece of A4 card. I'm not going to need that full length, but I can then decide how long I want it. And then I need some patterned paper. So for the handle, I need it at 1 1/4 inches. And as well as all the clickable links, all of the measurements, if you just scroll down, you'll see all of the measurements will be there for you as well. So if you don't hear exactly what I'm saying each time, that's okay. You'll be able to pick up the measurements at the bottom of the screen, just underneath where I'm talking. Okay, so that's for there. What else do I need? Oh, I need a strip to go all the way around the bag as well. So that's going to be 1 1/2 inches. So, and that's actually, I need it to be 1 1/2 by 8. So I'll just cut these first. Oh, no, you can't cut with the scoring blade. That's not going to work. There we go. So that's 8 inches. And then I am going to put some patterned paper on the inside of this section here. But I haven't written it down on my list. So I'm just going to have to work out how big it is. So let's just fold that in, quickly work it out. So I want 6 1/4 by 4 1/2. It will be on the screen. So let's have a look. That's not going to be big enough. So 6 1/4 is just there. It's 6 1/4 is just on this line here. 6 1/4 by 4 1/2. I think that's what I just said. I'm doubting myself now. Nope, that is correct. Hooray. So let's get all these scraps of paper out of the way and the trimmer out of the way. We can, of course, use the trimmer for scoring. It's got a fabulous scoring blade. But I just love my Simply Scored board. So I always use my scoreboard. It's habit. So these two pieces are scored exactly the same. They're going to be scored at 1 1/2 inches. Just make sure that's in shot. 1 1/2 inches on all 4 sides. So 1. It's a really straightforward box to make, because basically that's what it is. It is a box. We make it look like a suitcase, but basically it's a box. Okay. So that's it. Now use my bone folder. This is a really important piece of kit. It's not an expensive piece of kit at all, but it just makes a difference. And when you're making cards as well, if you use your bone folder to score the crease where your card's going to stand up, you will get a much better sort of standing up. I don't know what it is. Some kind of card making magic, but everybody needs bone folder. Okay, so here are the two pieces. So if we just look at the template again, you're going to cut on all of these small cut lines, and then we're actually going to cut the square off one of them. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm going to cut 2 squares. So this flap is going to be the flap that sticks down onto here. But we do have to cut all of these from the outside edge to the middle, or to the first score line. So on all of them. And then these as well. Okay. Now, because this is a box that the flaps are going to go on the inside, you also want to cut a sliver off each one of these squares. And it's just a tiny piece of cardstock, cut slightly on a diagonal, going narrower towards the score line. And it just means that the cardstock can bend a little bit further. It just will give you a much neater edge. So let's do that one. And then one more. Okay. All right, so let's get some glue in. Move the template out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to stick this piece down here, and actually what I am going to do is I'm going to slightly trim this as well, just so that it sits flat. And put Tombow glue on there. You can use double-sided tape if that's what you prefer. Most tape runners aren't strong enough for 3D projects, so do use something strong. Basically because they just need to be sturdy, because you're going to put things in them. Okay, so that is there. I've got got a splodge of glue there. I will deal with that in a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do now is put these pieces in. Actually, I'm going to put that side down, and then I'm going to use this patterned piece on the outside. So I'm going to put that in. So again, when you're decorating, always best to decorate it when it's flat, because it's easier. I'm obviously putting too much glue on today. Right, so let's just turn this. What we have got, that's for the handle, what we've got here are these 2 pieces that are going to form like a belly band around the bag, around the suitcase. So I'm actually going to stick it down to this center point here and then trim it off. So I'm just going to put glue sort of 2/3 of the way down. I've cut it a little bit too long. And what we're going to do is, just check them in shot there, is put it in the middle. And I'm going to make it so, can you see, it's just a tiny bit over the edge, so I can trim it so it's really flush. Just make sure it's straightish. And then what I'm going to do is fold this and trim it so that it's a bit short, like that. Okay, and then I can put a little bit more glue on there, and that's going to sit there, and then I'm going to fold it on those score lines. Give it a squish. Fold it on this score line as well. Give it a squish. And what that does is it folds it without breaking it and creasing it. But it also means then that this edge, we can just trim it off flush. And that's all okay. Let's just give that a bit more of a squash. That's lifting. Let me just move that down a bit more. Just fold that again. There we go. And then this one, we are going to do exactly the same, only this time we're going to put that piece over the top straight away. We're going to kind of do it in reverse. Just going to double check that we're pretty much lined up. Ooh. Look at that. Hooray! Obviously, if you want it to be perfectly lined up, what you can do is measure it from the edges. I tend to wing it. Straight's overrated. I like it ish. Okay, so let's just fold that piece, and then that piece. Just double check that it's all lined up, so it's slightly off there. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just trim that last piece off. Okay. Right, so all of those pieces are done. What we need to do now is assemble the box. Now you need to make sure which side is the front and which side is the back. Obviously I've got my little glue spot there, so that is going to be the back, and this piece is going to be the front. So what we're going to do is have it so that this piece is going to be the box part. So it's probably easier if I show you on this one. So the suitcase, you have the box part and then the lid. So this is the bit that I'm calling the front. So fold your two flaps in like so, and put glue on those. And then hold them up, and what you're looking for is a nice straight edge here. So you've got the cut line and the score line. So you want that to be nice and straight, and the same on this side. And then we're going to do the same on these two. Let's fold that back. Okay, so again, there. And there. Okay. So that is the main part of the box actually done. All we're going to do now is just fold the lid in. So again, you can put glue on these two pieces. And fold those in. And again, you've got the cut line and the score line there. And the same here. And then this piece slots over the top. Now you just want to pop that down and make sure it sits nicely before the glue is completely dry. Just move that a tiny bit there. There we go. Okay, so now what we've got to do is put these lovely little reinforcing pieces on. Now, what you do need to do is you need, well, firstly you need 6 of them, and to save time I've already scored them. But once you've got your circle, what you want to do is fold it in half, like so, and use your bone folder just to reinforce that score line, and then fold it in half again. So you're making quarters. Now you can do this on your scoreboard, and I think in the original video I did, but I've actually, when I was doing this, I've discovered that this works really well. So that's what we're going to do. Now, what we have to do is work out where these are going to go. So you want them on all sides, but what you don't want is for them to be overlapping. So basically, when you see this as a suitcase, you want it to have these reinforcings on all of the sides. So you're not going to obviously use a whole circle on each corner. So I'm going to start here, and this is solid. So this is a solid corner. There's no opening piece there. So I need a 3/4 circle. So I'm just going to cut a quarter out, and don't get rid of that quarter because you're going to need that later on. So this is going to fold there and stick like so. So the cut pieces are going to line up with the cut pieces on there. So let's just do that one. And this is more difficult to explain than it is to do, as with so many crafting things. But once you've got a few on, it will all make sense. So you're just sort of joining the circle there. Okay, so we're going to do that on the opposite side. And I find that it's easier to work in opposites, do one and then do the next one, because then you're repeating it and you know exactly what you're doing, or you think you know what you're doing. Okay, so again, the cut piece, that's going on there. So I'm just joining it up. So you just want to join it so the Night of Navy is touching the Night of Navy. Okay, so that's those 2 corners. Now these corners, you're going to need 3/4 again, but can you see, because this is opening, what you don't want to do is put it over there and seal it up, because then the people will never be able to get in the box. But you're just going to use a 3/4 again, but you're just going to position it so that the cut piece goes there. So it looks like it's joined, but it isn't joined. I did say it's more tricky to explain it than it is to kind of show you. So you're going to put that on there and that on there like so. Oh, too much glue. Okay, so we're going to repeat it on this side. Your glue on, just double check where that's going. It's going that way. Okay, so that's those 4. So if we flip the box over, we've now got these pieces. Now you're going to need to put, again, a 3/4 on here. So I'm going to open it up. So you're going to put a 3/4 on these 2. As well. And so at the beginning you heard me say that this is a just slightly smaller than a 1.5 inch, and that is what gives you that little gap there. So that's why that's really good. So we're going to put this here as well, and then we're going to look and see where we need to put the others. So that's that one. Okay, so that's there and there. Now, what we can do is, let me show you. So for these, you're going to need a half to go here and here. So let's cut that one in half. And use that one. So that's on there. And then we need a quarter to go on here. But, okay, let me just open this up. So this is where it's it's kind of down to personal preference. So what I am going to do is put a quarter on here, and then you can put some more halves on here. If you want to do that, you're going to need 8 circles, I think. I said 6 originally, so let's just go round. So we need quarters for there, definitely. So let's put those on, because you've kind of got this doubling up. So let me just move that there. So can you see it's actually underneath as well as on top? So you've got a quarter there and a quarter there. Okay, so as you're looking at this, you need a quarter there and a quarter there. What am I trying to say? When you finish the box and you stand it up, you want it to have these reinforcing pieces on all the corners, because that's exactly what a suitcase would have. So if you look at it now, you can see it's on all of the corners. Okay? But when you open it, oh, that one slipped. When you open it, you need to decide whether you want to be able to see it on all of the corners. So like here, whether you want these on these pieces. Now, I designed it not to put them on here, because this piece is going on and off and on and off, and chances are you're going to knock them. So my original 6 squares, 6, 7 I think I've used, I wouldn't have put them here. But it's up to you. This is your box. Your suitcase. You make it as you prefer. Okay, so I'm just going to do the handle now, which is the very last piece. I'm going to put this pattern paper on. And this is going to go on here like so. So what I'm actually going to do is attach it and bend it at the same time. So I'm going to trim it there, and I'm just going to grab my scoreboard, and I'm just going to, I want about, let's go for 1.25 inches. I'm just going to put 1.25 inches score line on this paper and card. And then I'm going to use my bone folder just to reinforce that score. Just make sure the paper is all stuck. And then use the bone folder and put my thumb on the top, and I'm just running the bone folder over to encourage that to bend. So we're getting a really nice shape. And then this is going to go on the top there, like so. Let's put the glue on. Now, if you are going to put something really heavy in here, then I would recommend that you secure this handle with brads. If you think somebody is actually going to pick it up by its handle, which they absolutely can, but you want to secure it with brads. And what you would do is pop them through here, and then I would put an additional strip of cardstock in there just to secure it. But pretty much that is the suitcase finished. Let me just grab my envelope just so I can show you. So that fits there with a bit of wiggle room, but it will also mean you can put your 4x6 cards and photographs and things in there. So there we have the finished suitcase. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed this project. Please do subscribe to both my YouTube channel and my blog. If you're on YouTube, then click subscribe and then click the bell as well, because that means you'll get notifications. And my blog is www.inspiringinkin.com. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.